Alright, so now that we've covered the video aspect of editing in Final Cut, let's hop over to the audio. And in order to do that, let's go up over here into the Smart Collections again. We'll go to our projects, and you'll see we have a sample sequence 2 that I have pre-made for you. Just double click that, open it up. It's basically the same thing from before, except with an additional shot tacked on and a crossfade between them. Now, since we're going to be dealing with audio, why don't we go ahead and bring some more audio in, some sound effects and some music. Let's go ahead and create a new folder, and let's go audio. And inside this folder, we are going to put a keyword collection for music and a keyword collection for sound effects. Like I said, I like to sometimes pre-build keyword collections inside, and rather than importing the media in through the import window, you simply import it through your Finder. You can drag and drop them onto these keyword collections, automatically applying the keyword to the media upon import. Now, if you navigate onto your computer, wherever you put your Final Cut Pro media folder that we've been utilizing the entire course, and go to the additional audio folder, you'll see there's a music and there's a sound effects. Go ahead and grab these two sound effects, drag them and drop them onto the SFX right there, and you'll see those have now been added into the audio. And now let's go over to music and go back to your Finder, and we've got a little music sample here we will do the same with. Now, as you drag and drop them in, again, it's important to always make sure that in your preferences for import, you have leave files in place selected if that's what you want to do. If you are copying all of your media to the library to take with you in one big file, then you'll want to have copy to library storage location selected. But in most cases, you're going to be using external media, you're going to want to leave those files in place. So now that we've got some music, some sound effects over here in our audio, and we've opened up our timeline down over here, let's just go ahead and add them in. I want to do a door drop right over there. So we'll go ahead and we'll select our door close sound effect and go ahead and hit Q to attach that to the primary storyline. We'll zoom in a little bit here and see. And let's see if that's where we want it. Yeah, that's fine where it is right there. Let's just go ahead and lower that a little bit. And now for the city background, that's going to be a constant ambient noise in the background of the entire scene. Let's go ahead and zoom out. And now, before we apply this, let's right-click it and go to Assign Audio Roles. Currently, this is assigned as Effects 1. Now, in an instance like this, I might want to sub-role name this, not as Effects 1, but as Ambience. So go ahead and hit Edit Roles, and down by Audio Roles, you'll see Effects, and you'll go to this little plus by Add Sub-Role. Go ahead and type in Ambience, and hit Apply. Now you'll see as you right click, you have an option here for ambience. Go ahead and click that for the city background. Now for the door close, we'll right click that, and you see we had added it into the timeline already, and it was incorrectly labeled as dialogue. So let's go down here and let's add it as an effect, because it is an effect, not ambience. And you'll see here in the timeline that the color hasn't changed. It is still actually a dialogue role here in the timeline, because once you add anything into your timeline project in Final Cut Pro, it becomes its own clip. Rather than being changed when you change the original clip, you'd have to do it manually. Now if we go ahead and edit this in again, you'll see that not only has it come in at a different color, but because we have our role audio sub roles over here selected on the drop down, it was minimizing the one that we had imported. So go ahead and unselect that, and now you'll see that we have the same sound effect in two different places with two different role assignments. Let's go ahead and delete the initial one we brought in, because we do want this to read as a sound effect. Now let's go back up over here and go ahead and we're going to add the city background as an ambience into the back. So let's hit Shift-Z to fit the sequence into the view, and go ahead and scroll back to the beginning of the timeline and hit Q. Now as you'll see here, it's gone a little bit beyond where this crossfade is, which is essentially where the scene changes, and that's actually a good thing. So why don't we go ahead and just drag this back a little bit over here. That's about the extent of where we're going to want that audio to probably play. We'll bring in a different ambient background if need be for over here. Now before we do anything else, let's go ahead with music sample, and what we're going to do is basically we're going to add this as a music transition right here when the scene switches. But once again, before we add it in, let's do a little right click, assign audio roles, and see we definitely want this to be music. Now as you'll see, for just general dialogue, effects, or music assignments, you can use the keyboard shortcut of Control Option M for music, Control Option E for effects, Control Option D for dialogue. Now let's go ahead and add this music into the timeline here. Our cursor is where we want it to begin. Hit Q to attach it as a connected clip. And you'll see it plays well beyond the end of the timeline. So let's go ahead and just clip that here with a little B for blade, delete. And there we have it. We have a couple of sound effects, we have some music, and attached to the video themselves we have some dialogue. So if we go over here to the left, you'll see we have effects and we have music. Now this is the different role assignments. You're basically seeing your audio now in its different lanes. Now if we go up over here into view and we go show audio lanes, you'll see now everything is neatly separated into their different lanes. Now if you go over here to the index, you'll see once again we have our separate lanes all laid out, and you can focus in on one or the other by simply selecting this little round button right here. You'll see the other lanes go away, and you can focus editing just on dialogue, just on effects, or just on music. You can also uncheck things right in here. Let's say you wanted to export a cut of a movie without any music for the composer to have. You would just untick this one box right here, and if you had all of your audio assigned properly from the get-go, you would be good. Now also again, if your dialogue has multiple different inputs for different tracks, you can also have sub-roles based on those. So let's say you had Justin as a sub-role for one of your actors. If you keep him through and through on that same lob, all you have to do is uncheck this one box here, and that'll mute him from the entire production. Now essentially, if you were going to be exporting this, let's say for a different language, you would come over here and uncheck all of your dialogue. You don't want to hear anybody's voice, you just want the M and the E, the music and effects, to play. So this is a really useful place over here in the index to assign different roles. You can edit them from over here again, create sub-roles in all different categories, and you can also then focus in on different roles.